Here's what I believe about the Illuminati. Do I believe in the Illuminati? Shit, no. But I do believe that when people or groups get big enough that they can use the belief of in the Illuminati to help make them look bigger than what they really are, scarier. Like, you know, the 5 points in Washington D.C. all equal and it formed a pentagram, stuff like that. But like, you get this group, whatever the name it is, and they get big enough and they find that something about them is similar to the Illuminati. So they blow that shit up and make it look like they are the Illuminati. Hey man, have you got 1 or 2 quarters?
No, you scared me.
I'm sorry.
Is man accepting tyranny in all its forms, both in intimate life and further up the fractal? Are we accepting that because we'd rather have external tyranny in any form than walk the road of selfhood? Now, I don't know. I say we're exploring it together. Is man so afraid of the burden, the weight of being a self? Is he so apprehensive about walking the Siddhartha road, or he tries it and finds out, oh Jesus, that's a bit tough, that he then makes this sort of inner contract with himself to follow the gurus and to follow the leaders and the masters, so that these tyrants, both political and religious, exist? Because you won't find carrion crows and vultures in a Japanese tea garden. If you're finding maggots, the meat is rotten. If you're finding rats, it's a sewer. Like I said, the ego is the ghost that rose out of the self, the grave of the self. So once you start looking into this deeper relationship of what we are doing, our neglect, our avoidance of selfhood, could that be in some way causing the state of decay that we see? Because don't blame the vultures and the carrion crows. They're doing exactly what they need to do. The maggots are doing exactly what they need to do. If something's dead, then don't blame the maggots. So if the psyche is in a state of decay, don't blame the predators for coming by and setting up shop. Jung said it, one of the greatest psychologists who ever lived. He said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to stop from facing their souls. No matter how absurd.
For all of you little faggots out there, I am your master. See, I'm here to retrain you, to give you purpose. Everything that you thought was reality, was the way that you should be living before, is completely wrong. But don't worry, because I'm here. I'm going to reprogram, retrain you, give you the faggot life you've always wanted, the one that you were meant to live, to serve me.
Throughout history, they have hatched rotten plots to carry out their devious means. Whether it involves spiking someone's drink or taking advantage of a handicap, the bad guys don't care whose toes they step on in their selfish quest for power. Their target always has been, and always will be, naive youth. One of the tricks the forces of evil use is called the new morality game, devised by the self-proclaimed intellectual elite. This game works by telling young people that they are the most intelligent generation in the history of mankind, thus creating a generation gap. Hypnotic music creates an atmosphere where the unwary can be tempted to indulge themselves. The most important thing is to get this generation to be pleasure seekers. The youngsters may rebel at first because of the puritanical ethic of their middle-class upbringing. But if you get them to take that first one, the rest comes easy. And for the more naive, there are those strange-smelling cigarettes from below the border. Once you get the youngster high, they will seek these kinds of experiences at every opportunity, creating a generation which is pleasure-bent, self-indulgent, Or, as Dr. Timothy Leary says, a hedonistic society. This theme being promoted as the new morality over and over in the press, in the movies, on radio, on television, is designed to place a whole generation on one big orgy. And when they've indulged themselves to capacity, the bad guys will sock it to it.
And I wanted to do something different. Right now, what I thought I would do is, I feel like all of you are part of my life, and that's something I hold dear to my heart, and that means a lot to me than what you all think. So I thought I would do something different, something that I have not seen done before. I like being creative, excuse me, you know, being a poet, in writing things of how, you know, of speaking from my heart.
And I am doing as my father has told me. Listen, I had to write it on my tablet and my phone because I didn't have time to write it in paper and pencil. So here it is. I am your only escape. Tell my people that I am their only escape. They are to come to me in prayer and in fasting with a humble heart and truly repent. And I will give them my strength, and they shall receive my total attention. I want them to stop playing with this world and seek their true home, for my Father will send me for them until they start seeking their true love and start fading away from the things of this world. For I am the way, the truth, and the life, and I am the door, the open door, to which ye shall escape through. There is no other way, my children. Many are trying to find other ways and causing me to wrath, and I am warning my true bride to stop and seek your true place with me, your bridegroom, Yeshua HaMashiach. And I want you all to hear this warning, my beloved. Warning, my beloved messenger is bringing forth unto you.
And so these were believed to have been buried around 400 AD.
And so when they were writing the Bible,
when they were persecuting
people that believed that they were following the real teachings of Jesus Christ, for example.
And there are other gospels here. There's the Gospel of Thomas.
And others.
So there was
Information that they were weeding out of the official Bible.
The focus that brought the collection together
Is an estrangement from the mass of humanity, an affinity to an ideal order that completely transcends life as we know it, and a lifestyle radically other
than common practice. This lifestyle involved giving up the goods that people
usually desire,
and longing for ultimate liberation. It is not an aggressive revolution
that is intended, but rather
a withdrawal
from involvement in the
contamination that destroys
clarity of vision.
What the CIA and the Defense Department have been doing for a long time as far as using us as guinea pigs for mind control and other types of horrible things they have in mind for us and the rest of the people in the world. What are some of them?
Well, It started out basically with the CIA doing experimentations on their own men to discover if they could get rid of agents who were going to quit the department and still had classified information. So they utilized different types of drugs and pain and hypnosis and electric shock to try and get the guys to forget. Then they also did experimentations to using different chemicals to see if you can induce a person to commit a crime or induce him to do that or to do this. Of course, the CIA claimed that it didn't carry it through. The documentation we got was actually that they did that. Then we came across the overall project called MK Ultra. Its earlier code name was Artichoke, and that included 149 sub-projects. Yeah. And those sub-projects range from what I just described to open-air testing in the United States, experimentation on prisoners, experimentation on soldiers, experimentation on college students.
Would these people know they were being experimented on and gave their approval?
No, except for the quote-unquote voluntary Army soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
And the way the Volunteer Army program worked is it started in 1959, and the guys were just told that they would be doing experimentation on new weapons, right? And then they'd get to Fort Detrick, Maryland, where the experimentation was done, and find out that they were going to be doing it on drugs and chemicals. But they were never told what they would be experimented on. You know, they just knew that they went crazy for a couple of days or so forth and so on, and then years later have similar things to the guys who had Agent Orange, because there's one chemical that was used called BZ, and it's 100 times stronger than LSD. It's a very gross drug that causes a person to totally go out of his head for at least 12 hours, sometimes up to 2 to 3 weeks, where he doesn't even know where he is or who he is.
Are there residual effects to BZ?
Yes. Now, the Army at first said that they'd done testing to discover it, and they said there weren't any residual results.
It's harmless. They always say that.
Right. And we did a campaign to find the soldiers who had been experimented on, and we found approximately 40 in the U.S., all of which have been experiencing extreme emotional and physical upset since that time. You know, with children with birth defects, the same sort of thing as Agent Orange. But the Army